and community. Today is January 10th, 2022. I got to get used to saying 22 rather than 21. A Board of County Commissioners meeting. And I will read the public charge to get us going. The Board of Commissioners asks its members and citizens to conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner, both with the board and fellow citizens. At any time, should any member of the board or any citizen fail to observe this public charge, the chair will ask the offending person to leave the meeting until that individual regains personal control. Should decorum fail to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until such time that a genuine commitment to the public charge is observed. I will ask. Okay, I was just reading my minutes here, my notes here. Commissioner Carter, would you do our Pledge of Allegiance today? If you would do that for us.
I'd love to. My dog's barking in the background. Hopefully he'll settle. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. That'll kick us off. Are there any agenda adjustments from any board member? Hearing none, we will move on to our announcements, and we will ask Mrs. Wallace if she will read our announcements this evening for us.
You're on mute.
Sorry. I will begin reading the announcements for tonight's meeting. As a reminder, they are available on our county website. The first announcement, get your COVID-19 vaccination at DPAC. COVID-19 cases are rising due to holiday travel and the Omicron variant. Take your shots at the Durham County Department of Public Health as soon as you can. The Vaccination Clinic is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesdays from 9 a.m. to 5:45 p.m., and closed on Fridays. No appointment is necessary. And just as a reminder, the clinic is closed daily from 11:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. Martin Luther King Jr. Employee Observance Program. For the second year, the City-County Martin Luther King Jr. Employee Observance Program will highlight the life and legacy of Dr. King virtually. The 2022 celebration will include a multi-part series that will be released the week of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, beginning January 17th. Visit the primary social media pages for the county and city to view the series. On January 20th, the completed series will be released on the Durham Television Network. Durham Pre-K for 2022-2023 application period begins February 8th. The Durham Pre-K application for the 2022-2023 school year will open on February 8th. Please visit www.durhamprek.org to receive more information. This is just an interest form. It is not the official application. If you have questions, please visit the website or call 1-833-773-5338, or you can also email prekchildcareservices.org for assistance. ABC 11 Together Blood Drive at Deco Main Library on January 12th. The American Red Cross, in partnership with Durham County Library and ABC 11, will hold a blood drive at the main library located on 300 North Roxborough Street from 8 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. Registration is required to donate. Please visit www.redcross.org/ABC Together or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to sign up. Engage Durham holding community meeting on January 12th. Residents are invited to participate in one of 6 staff-led community meetings for the new Durham Comprehensive Plan. The meeting is scheduled to be held virtually from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and registration is required. There is a Zoom link for registration and it can be found on our website. Low-Income Homeowners Relief Program, LIHR, has been extended. The LIHR has been extended until January 31st, 2022. All details on the requirements for this program are available at www.dconc.gov/DSS. Durham residents who wish to receive assistance with the application process can also call 919-560-8000 Monday through Thursday to schedule an hourly appointment. Business Recovery Grant Program. The North Carolina Department of Revenue has created a new grant program for small businesses that had sufficient economic losses due to COVID. The Business Recovery Grant Program includes $500 million for 2 grant programs, $300 million for hospitality businesses to include arts, entertainment, recreation, hotel, restaurants, and bars, as well as $200 million for businesses that are not in one of the categories mentioned above and were also not recipients of any previous COVID relief funding. The application period is open until January 31st, 2022. For more information, please visit the state's link, www.ncdor.gov/business-recovery-grants. And lastly, Durham residents can receive help with their energy bill. As of January 3rd, 2022, all Durham residents will be eligible to apply for the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, LIEAP. You can make a virtual appointment by phone for assistance or visit the state's website to complete the application. Durham residents can call 919-560-8192, or you can visit it's www.epass.nc.gov to apply. The program ends March 31st. That concludes our announcements for this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Wallace. Doing such a great job, and just want to lift up the business recovery grant program one more time, that individuals, businesses take advantage of that. January 31st will be here before you know it. So just to lift that up again. Are there any other announcements from board members? Commissioner Burns, talk a little bit, lift up the W.D. Hill Recreation Center, just talk about that a little bit. I wasn't able to attend, but I know that you did.
That was actually why I had my hand up. And
Okay,
I don't know,
great.
you see how it's going. I'm gonna have to turn off my back screen, but yeah, that is actually why I had my hand up. So for any of you all who are familiar about the historic W.D. Hill Community Recreation Center, Durham Parks and Recreation actually recently did their grand opening for it, and it was this Saturday from 2 to 5. I didn't know about it until right beforehand, so I'm thankful to Vice Chair Board Member Javanya Lewis, who, while I was just in transit, said, hey, we're doing a reopening. There's so much that they have done. Just a couple of the highlights. We already have a lot of karate classes and we have a lot of fitness classes that go on, but they have redone they've redone the front paneling for it to be LED ready, for us to have better climate control and heated and cool rooms. There's a new basketball court, there's new equipment, they've updated the parking deck. There's just a lot of updates that they have made in that space. And for those of you all who are not familiar, it really is kind of a staple in the Durham community. It was the one place that people of color, Black people, could actually go when there was no Y for us to go to, when there was no community center for us to go to. So it was actually constructed and built in 1922. So they're actually going to be able to celebrate a pretty cool centennial this year. So if you all have not gone, I can tell you that the hours for WD Hill are 10 to 8 p.m. Well, that's for the fitness center, but you can rent it out because there's a gymnasium, a fitness room, multi-purpose room, dance studio, and they're really working on trying to implement new mentorship and crisis classes for those suffering from anywhere from just depression to mental illness to the classes for some of our senior citizens. So really trying to bolster that space and make it the city center that it was before. I will throw this out. I didn't plan on saying that much. Based on the announcement that Monica gave, I don't know if you all saw the weather. It is probably going to snow on Friday and Saturday from anywhere from 1 to 3 inches. So I don't know what we're going to do about the blood drive and maybe some of our COVID vaccination stuff and how we're going to do cancellations. I'm just lifting that up in the event this blood drive has to be canceled, or in the event this. So those are just some things, we made these announcements. Monica does a great job. We really want these events to happen. But in the event we have 3 inches of snow, we might not be taking your blood at the library on Saturday. So that was my second thing, was just a weather update. I suppose the high of 39 on Friday and Saturday. And in the morning, it is supposed to be a high of 25. So thought I'd throw that out there. My meteorology days are over.
Well, for the, thank you, Commissioner Burns. And just for the community, that was one of the city's projects. It was in the city's capital improvement project. So when we talk about city or county talks about capital improvement projects, this is just one that the city did, and it's a pretty cool project for the community. Just wanted to acknowledge that. Hey, did I see your hand, Commissioner Long?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. I just wanted to lift up and congratulate Major Bazemore on his retirement after service of over 33 years to the Durham County Sheriff's Office. I know I can speak for everyone on this board and our staff that every time he would be on our agenda for a speaker, it was something we got to look forward to, because it would always be good news or a recognition or celebration from the Sheriff's Office. So congratulations, Major Bazemore. It's a well-deserved retirement, and hope you and your wife and family are able to go on a nice vacation. Enjoy yourselves.
And thank you for lifting that up. Yes. We wish him all the best. Put in a lot of years. Anything else? Okay. So our next item, Commissioners, is we have before us the minutes for December 6th, 2021 work session, and December 13th, 2021, our regular session minutes for approval. Are there any edits or comments on the minute? Commissioner Jacobs?
I move the December 6th and December, I forget the date. What was it, the 12th?
13th.
13th.
December 13th.
Minutes,
Yeah.
minutes for approval.
Okay, got a second?
Second.
Been moved by Jacobs, second by Commissioner Lum to approve the minutes. Can we get a roll call, clerk?
Commissioner Alon,
Aye.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jacobs,
Aye.
Chair Howerton.
Aye. Approved 5-0. So next we have some ceremonial items. 210736, introduction of a city-county immigrant and refugee affairs strategist. In our budget in 2021, we allocated funds, and this is both the city and county budget for this new position. And we have our Drew Cummings, our Chief of Staff, to do the introductions.
Thank you, Chair Howerton. Good evening, Commissioners. Drew Cummings, Chief of Staff. It is my distinct pleasure this evening to introduce to you our first ever joint city-county refugee and immigrant affairs strategist, Ms. Selena Mate. As she says, it rhymes with latte. This is a brand new position. As you noted, it's been jointly funded in this year's budget and hopefully beyond by the city and the county. It was agreed that the position would be housed in the city's neighborhood improvement services department, a department that has very strong community engagement and multilingual outreach functions already integrated into it. And I want to just take a quick minute to say that Linwood Best and Constance Stansel from Neighborhood Improvement Services are on the line, and I want to appreciate them for doing such a good job with this hire and for supporting Selena in her work. I'll note that a number of county staff from departments that work with significant numbers of refugees and immigrants assisted with the hiring process, and that Ms. Mate was selected from a large number of candidates, and she began work on November 1st. She has a bachelor's degree in history and legal studies from Huntington University, and most recently worked with World Relief Durham, which is one, if you don't know, what you probably all do, but is one of our community's principal organizations helping newly arrived refugees and other immigrants, helping them to access the basic necessities to begin them on their journey to belonging here in Durham. So I think that Selena is well prepared for this important community position, and in her first few months, I would say she has shown remarkable energy for getting out and meeting folks. She's written at least one successful grant, maybe more, and I also would mention that she has started the city and the county down the path to becoming officially recognized as a welcoming community. So per our interlocal, you will be getting regular updates from Ms. Mate, but I wanted to also give her the chance this evening to say hello, and then for any of you to say a few quick words or ask any quick questions. So Selena, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Drew. As Drew mentioned, I am Selena, and it is such an honor to be with all of y'all today. I'm really excited. I've been talking about meeting y'all since honestly day one, because I'm so excited and thrilled to get to know each of you and our city council, who were integral in the conversations before this position existed, and kind of the people who were at the roundtables and really the visionaries behind this position. So I'm really excited to be here with y'all. I am so thankful for this opportunity. And I really look forward to working with each of you to integrate our refugee and immigrant community into what we're doing in the county, what we're doing in the city, and just really create a welcoming space. So I think Durham is already on the right path, but I do think we also have work to do. And so I'm really excited to be a part of that work. So thank you.
Thank you, Selena, so much. And, we appreciate the fact that you put your work plan attached to this agenda tonight. We appreciate that. And any comments from Constance or Linwood?
Hi, this is Linwood. Can you hear me okay?
You can?
Yes. Thank you for having me here tonight. I certainly appreciate you inviting me. I'm going to try to set my camera so you can see me.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Before that, we could only see the top of your head. That's better.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's because I gave you no test run. Okay. Well, it's good to see you guys, and especially my Rutan members there. We're pleased to be here tonight, and we're just happy that you recognize the tenure Ann and I just completed for the last 2 years. I hardly know what. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I think what
I think she was just.
we got Linwood and Linwood Best and Linwood. So we haven't read your.
Oh my goodness.
That's all right. That's all
I'm
right.
the wrong
That's
Linwood.
Right.
Well,
we'll let Linwood Best speak, and then we'll come back to you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay to be eager. We don't mind.
Good evening. Thank you all for allowing me to say we're very excited to have Selena on board. She was one of 37 people that applied for this position. And through several interviews, she rise to the top. She's very energetic. As you can tell, she's already got a grant going for us, and she's got more that she's got in her back pocket. If you look at her work plan, you'll be excited about the things she has in store for Durham City, and Durham County. And all things, we're just really appreciative for her and her efforts so far. We look forward to working with her. We also thank you for allowing us to have the funding to actually hire her and to support our immigrant and refugee community. So we're really excited. We're back reporting to you about the great things we're doing, and we thank you again for your support. We appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything from you, Consul?
Just want to say thank you. And we certainly have the right person in Selena. I'm getting one of those bad calls on my home phone. But we are so excited about this work. We have wanted to do this work, have a dedicated person help us with this work, and we finally have that. We've been trying to do this with other staff, but it just doesn't work unless you have the dedicated resources and staff persons to do this work. And Selena is the right person. So thank you for your support. And we look forward to this being really just one of the best things that the city and the county could do together. So thank you.
Thank you. Board members, any comments? Commissioner Alam?
Thank you, Chair Howerton. I just say how personally excited I am for this position and for you, Selena, to be joining this team. It's so exciting to be able to have a position like this. And I know, like, for me as an immigrant, that this is something that my family could have greatly benefited from when we first moved here. And so I'm just really grateful to the rest of my board members for supporting this position from day one and being able to have like a county that is so supportive of immigrants and refugees, and our city council members, especially Councilmember Caballero, who's been a champion for this position and for immigrants and refugees. And thank you so much, the Neighborhood and Improvement Services team, for welcoming Selena to your team and doing such a thorough process to bring her on. And I have been ecstatic to see, like, within a month or less than a month, she had already secured a grant in this position, which is just absolutely amazing. So I'm excited to see what comes next from you. Thank you so much, Selena.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Alam. And honestly, I'm really excited to learn more about your journey. And I mean, just how we can incorporate that into our work. And also, I mean, the grant, I'm really excited about it. I think that my passion for refugees and immigrants is also paired heavily with youth. And one of the things I think that it's going to really be an awesome opportunity for youth to shine. So I'm really excited to partner with y'all, and I am so thankful for the work that you put forth for this position, because it is so needed. As my team mentioned, as Linwood mentioned, it's so important to have someone who is purposeful in this, because we can't overlook the fact that like 15% of our population falls into this, foreign-born category. And that's a very large chunk of our population, and then you even dwindle it down to the refugee, which I come from the refugee resettlement world, and that's even more overlooked. And so I'm really excited to learn more about what y'all were thinking about this position before I stepped into the scene. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Other commissioners, Commissioner Jacobs, and then Commissioner Burns.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I also want to just say welcome to you, Selena, and I'm thrilled about the position that you're in and the work that you're doing, and also your background coming from World Relief, that you've already been doing this work and a part of our community. And I was really excited to see that you were specifically working around youth and workforce development, because that is so key for all of our refugees and immigrants to be able to find a job that they enjoy and that they can use to sustain themselves and their families. I mean, that's the ultimate integration into our community. And I'm really excited about your scope of work and the quarterly updates. And just, I have definitely, from my boards and commissions that I've been on, recognized there are so many county services especially that are really important for our refugees and immigrants. And I hope that you will let us know about things that we can do, to try to address the barriers and increase access to the incredible, programs and services that we have in so many departments. So I hope it will be a two-way communication, and look forward to meeting you in person someday. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobs. Yeah, I'm very excited. I do hope that this is a two-way street as well. One of the things that I've been working on since I started on the 1st of November is really building strong community connections so that I can, be that, I guess, how do you say, bridge, I guess, between the community connections and the leadership between the city and county, so that I can say, hey, this policy isn't really working for our marginalized communities in Durham. And then this one is, I really do want to be in those spaces and be that bridge between y'all and the community. So yeah, but thank you for the welcome.
I will be quite quick. Yes, ma'am. I will be quite quick. Ms. Mate, welcome, 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 welcome. I cannot say anything better than my colleague. I think they've said a lot of what I wanted to say, but what I did want to throw out there before, this was probably right after the election. So maybe in June or July, Commissioner Alam and I got to meet at the Bull. And this is when it was the first time that she talked to me about this position. And I said, okay, there wasn't a question about it. I was like, let's just figure out how we're going to get it done. And luckily, we had 3 wonderful women who didn't have a problem with us baking this into the marrow of our first budget. Yes, as much as it was something that we worked on, as a budget, this was something that we dreamed of, envisioned, and something that Commissioner Alam saw coming. And what I want you to know, you said, what were we envisioning? Now, it is too early to tell, but at this juncture, you might be what we were envisioning. It's just a thought, right? Because you've set the bar very high. You've already gone out and got money, which I can always appreciate. You have a plan, which I really appreciate. You have experience, which I more than appreciate. So I just want you to know, you don't, I think a lot of times people are constantly saying, I gotta grab, I gotta appease and appease. I don't think you're gonna have to do that with us. The best thing that we can hope for is you communicating with us and helping us figure out what we can do to take down some of those walls and some of our processes. Much like Commissioner Jacobs said, a two-way street. And I think for me, what makes me happy is that Durham is full of nonprofits. And when I speak about the good nonprofits that do some of this work, they are still very many, right? So you call them an elected official, and if it's not their bailiwick, they don't have anybody to go to. I think for me, what makes me the happiest is that I finally have an internal resource that I can send people to. And in the event that it gets to be too much, you come back to us and you communicate that as well and saying, you know what, I have this, but I don't have the infrastructure to do these things, right? And let us know that, because if nothing else, we didn't envision you to be unsuccessful, right? We want you to be successful because then the community is successful. So I hope that is also within the marrow. When it gets to be too much, or when you're like, you know what, we need this additional thing, we want to hear those things from you as well. So again, welcome, and we're happy to have you on board. I hope you stay with us for a very long time.
Thank you so much for that, and I appreciate the receptiveness of all of that. I really do appreciate that, because if I learned anything from building a program at World Relief is that the first year of a program is not without big learning curves, and so I think that's as we work all together to really make this a successful initiative. That's the most important thing, is being open to hearing what can improve, what is going well, what needs to be stopped. I think that that's the most important thing in the first year of a program. And so I really do appreciate that. And thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Carter?
Yes, I'll just say, hi, Selena. I really look forward to meeting you in person. I can tell you're going to bring a lot of dynamism and just expertise to this role, and you're going to help us really live out our values and make Durham a community that is welcoming to everyone, regardless of your place of birth or the language that you speak or the color of your skin or your ethnicity. We are grateful that you wanted to work for Durham County, and it'll be great to meet you in person one day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. I am hopeful for the same thing one day, hopefully soon.
Thank you so much. I think you can hear from all of my board members that we're excited to have you, and we're looking forward to working with you. And we want you to be safe.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So our next resolution, commissioners, is honoring Mr. Linwood Hedgepeth. I know he got excited a few minutes ago, but now he can really get excited. The board is requested to recognize Mr. Hedgepeth by honoring him for making history as the first Black president-elect and president from 2020 to 2021 in the 93-year history of the Ruritan National. And I'd like Commissioner Jacobs, Vice Chair Jacobs, to read the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It would be my honor to read this. I also have a barking dog, but I will do my best with this. The Board of County Commissioners resolution in honor of Linwood Hedgepeth. Whereas Linwood Hedgepeth is a native of Rougemont, Durham County, North Carolina, where he lives with his wife Ann, as well as many extended Hedgepeth family members, and his two sons, Daryl and Eric, and daughter-in-law, Latoya. And whereas Mr. Hedgepeth attained educational certifications and degrees from North Carolina State University, Durham Technical Community College, and the IBM Quality Institute, and worked for IBM for 35 years as a quality engineering new product manager in both foreign and domestic areas. Whereas Linwood Hedgepeth is a dedicated member of the New Harris Grove AME Church, where he has served in many roles, including Board of Trustees Chair, Choir Vice President, Steward, Board Chair, Usher, Sunday School Teacher, and was recognized as Man of the Year in 2014. And whereas Mr. Hedgepeth is a long-standing and committed member of the Rougemont Ruritan Club, an organization devoted to the well-being of the Rougemont community, serving as director and in the role of committee chair and mentor and vice president and president of the Rougemont Club. And whereas Linwood Hedgepeth has served in numerous district and state leadership roles of North Carolina Ruritan, including district governor from 2014 to 15, district lieutenant governor from 2013 to 14, fundraising chair, cabinet member, and district convention planning chair and president of the Association of North Carolina Ruritans, and an honorarious member of the Association of Virginia since 2015. And whereas Mr. Hedgepeth has arisen to the leadership roles of the national level of Ruritan as national director from 2016 through 2018, convention delegate from 2008 through 2017, Convention Chairs Committee 2014-15, Sergeant at Arms 2014 and 15, and Ruritan Forever Endowment and Tom Downing Fellow. And whereas Linwood Hedgepeth made history in 2019 as the first Black president-elect and national president from 2020 to 2021 in the 93-year history of Ruritan National, a civic service organization founded in 1928 dedicated to improving communities and building a better America through fellowship, goodwill, and community service. And whereas National President Linward Hedgepath and First Lady Ann Hedgepath provided inspirational and transformative leadership for the nearly 25,000 Ruritan Club members in 900 local communities throughout the United States during the unprecedented and challenging time of a global pandemic. And President Hedgepath encouraged members to continue to help others with a focus on welcoming, listening to, and mentoring new members, and this strong vision of let's continue to focus our energy and not on fighting the old, but building the new and soaring like an eagle. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Durham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby honor and celebrate the legacy of outstanding leadership and service to others of Linward Hedgepath in the Rougemont community, Durham County, the state of North Carolina, and throughout the United States of America, and do hereby and congratulate Mr. Hedgepath on his groundbreaking and historic role as the first Black president of Ruritan National. This, the third day of January 2022. Brenda Howerton, Chair, Wendy Jacobs, Vice Chair, Nida Alam, Namashina Burns, and Heidi Carter, Durham County Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobs. Mr. Hedgepath, I know you're there.
Yes, I just wanted to be very careful about jumping in too quick.
No, it's your time. It's your time. And if you have others that are with you, please feel free to introduce them. But
Okay.
you
I
have the
have
floor.
with me, of course, Ann is here with me, my wife, Ann. Miller
Okay.
Thacker is here as well, and Marty Thacker, who,
Wonderful.
and Marty is the president of our club and at this time. So, but first, let me just apologize to Lynn Wood. I don't get on too many meetings where we have another Lynn Wood. I should have listened careful. I want to apologize for stepping on his time.
It's all right.
but-
I think he understand. I might have said Linwood rather than Linward.
Okay.
So, yeah, so maybe that was my error. Okay.
Well, it's difficult to make the distinction sometimes. But anyway, thank you all so very much. We are so pleased that you even know we were still out in
We
Rougemont.
do.
And to be recognized, it's a real honor, and it's good to see you all again. I might just say that Ann and I was just honored to be chosen to serve as president, and we were well received, well respected all throughout Ruritan land, all throughout the nation. It was never a difficult time. We have a lot of loving folk in Rougemont. I mean, not just Rougemont, but throughout the nation that's in Ruritan. Our challenge came in 2020. We had lots of carefully laid plans to move the organization forward. I had never set out to be a district leader or national leader, never less a national president. And I like to think my steps was ordered because once we were received, it was a labor of love. It was never a difficult challenge. The challenge only came when the pandemic came, which was in 2020, of course. 2 months into my office, here comes the COVID, and there was no blueprint on how to lead. We learned while leading, I should say. We were an organization with a motto of fellowship, goodwill, and community service. But we couldn't meet in person, so how do you fellowship? We were forced to adapt technology, of course, and introduce that to not only our board and staff, but the whole nation on how to communicate to keep the business operating and continue to move forward. That was a challenge in the beginning, but we managed to get things in place. I guess the only way I can explain that is just say there was a lot of firsts in 2020 and 2021. But fortunately, unfortunately, we had to cancel our national convention in 2021. But we were able to hold the organization together and striving through 2021. So just this past weekend, we were able to hold our 2022 national convention. So it was successful. We had very well attendance despite the many members that we lost due to COVID, not just the death, but those that were still a bit nervous about coming out and working with us. But we had a successful convention. We're looking forward to continue to work and continue to guide this. Our banquet, I would say we were holding about probably nearly 500 people, which was really, really good. In our business meeting, we were somewhere short of maybe 400 or thereabout. And for the first time in a long time, First Lady Ann sponsored a show and meal out at the Medieval Times, which we had nearly 400 people. And I can't leave without mentioning Ann's project with St. Jude. She had set a goal of raising $10,000, but we raised closer to 40,000. I think it was 37,000, and it may even go over because we did a rally. So it was just a wonderful outgoing. St. Jude was so excited. They sent personnel over to our national convention to put on a No More Cancer rally, and so that was the first for that. So I would say we had a lovely attendance. We were loved throughout Ruerton. And if anyone wondered if we're changing, I would say Ruerton has set the standard. We are proof that we're changing. We were loved. We stayed in households from one side of the nation to the other, up and down the coast, very well received. No bad testimony. I just want to thank you all for having us here tonight, and I look forward to seeing you all again. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I tell you, I miss my coming up to visit you guys, and this COVID really has put a damper on the visiting and seeing you in person, and even picking up the sausages, even though I had to give them away. I would buy them, but I'm vegan, so I don't eat sausage. But at least I would purchase it and bring it home and give it to someone else. But yeah. I miss that. Yeah.
If I must say that we would like to, we'll just reach out to you guys and give you another invitation. And I'm sure you got other commissioners there, Chairman Howard, that would like to join our club as well. And isn't that right, Wendy? Thank you. So we'll get an invitation out to you, and we'll work out a date that you guys can come out to see us.
Well, thank you so much. Anyone else? You have anybody else that want to speak? Not, we'll ask the commissioners for comments. See, all of you raise your hand at the same time. Let's start with Commissioner Burns and Commissioner Lum and Commissioner Jacobs.
Again, quick, just to say thank you so much for helming a very prestigious organization during the pandemic. I imagine that when you were elected in 2019, you say there were a lot of firsts. I imagine you did not foresee this. thank you for knocking down that door, putting not only a crack in that glass ceiling, but actually going through it. I'm a small town North Carolina girl, and so, you know, we had that people always talk about Sertoma or Rotary, but we had a Rural Club. And so for a poor kid like me growing up on the Chickenfoot Road, that was who sponsored you to be able to go to 4-H. You know, that was, and we have not forgotten about Rougemont. We have not forgotten about our county partners. And so I'm excited that you have extended us an invitation. Thank you for being a shining light and a beacon for so many, because it takes representation matters, right? And the fact that you've had such a storied history, not only in the private sector, but in your public service life, just speaks to the type of man that you are. And I'm proud to say that you were in Durham and you were Durham born and bred. I have no idea why that is ringing, and I do apologize, but thank you so much for your service. And we look forward to seeing you very soon. And Brenda's told me about these sauces. I am not vegan, so I do not have that problem. I'm doing the Daniel's fast, but I'll be done with the Daniel's fast very soon. So.
Okay.
So, all right. Who else was it? Was that Commissioner Lum? Did I see your hand, or was it Wendy?
It was Wendy, but I can just briefly say thank you so much, Mr. Linward, for your years of service. And when you first started your remarks, you said to us, thank you for not forgetting Rougemont, but really the thanks goes to you and to your wife and the people of your community who have made sure that the county continues to uplift the work of the people of Rougemont. And I'm really excited to celebrate you and your years of service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jacobs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, Linward, it's really great to see you, even if it's virtually. And I know Ann is there, and Marty and Millard. All of you are real leaders in our community as well. Hey, Ann. And I just really, I'm so glad that we are doing this resolution to really celebrate you and this incredibly historic achievement that you have made. I mean, really, 93-year history of this national organization. And here you are from our community, and you have been the first Black president. And it is, I mean, it's an incredible life achievement. And I just really hope that us doing this resolution really helps to get the word out into our community about this important milestone that you have achieved, really for all of us. So really, congratulations. And I am a associate Rougemont Ruritan Club member, and I get the Ruritan magazine, and so I have been following Linward's career for the past 2 years. And I just want to say that I have been so impressed by your mission, which has been to really try to reinvigorate and re-inspire the Ruritan message. That's what I have seen throughout your tenure. And Anne, with your project as the First Lady for the Children's Hospital, both of you have just, thank you so much for what you've done. And, as county commissioners and the work that the county does, we really rely on Ruritan clubs. We've got the Redwood, Rougemont, Bahama, Mount Sylvan, Bethesda, and all of these clubs really provide such important services in the community and really help us. Commissioner Burns mentioned the college scholarships that you all provide. You all do the food banks. You provide medicine and wellness. I mean, there's just so many things that you all do to help people in our community. And frankly, I don't know what we would do without the Ruritan clubs in our community. So thank you. And congratulations on your outstanding achievement in a very difficult time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I remember being there when you opened the one in Rougemont, the foods for food.
The food bank.
Was the food bank. I was there when that was opened, and that was really profound when you did that. Yeah. Yeah. Commissioner Carter, do you have something you wanted to say?
I'll just add my voice to the congratulations, gratitude, and admiration, Mr. Hedgepeth. It's clear you're a kind, considerate, committed individual, and we're so grateful to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. We're going to move on, commissioners, to next resolution. But before we go to the next resolution, I just want to bring the attention to something that happened in our country this weekend, the trial of Aubry, Ahmad Aubry. You know, when the judge pronounced that sentence, it was pretty profound, because the next two resolutions, we're talking about humanitarian people that were humanitarians in this country. And when the judge said this young man was running 5 minutes, and he asked to take 1 minute, to be silent for 1 minute as this young man was running. So Monica, can you give us 1 minute and let us see what that's like for 1 minute? Now let me know when that 1 minute is up. Was that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That was 1 minute of 5 minutes that this young man was running. And then he was shot and murdered. And when the judge rendered the sentencing, it will never bring that young man back. And as we read the next two resolutions, just wanted to lift up this young man's life. And there are a lot of young men and women in our country and mothers that are grieving for someone taking their child's life. But the humanitarian that these people represent, they did the work. So the next one I will read. I'm going to read the resolution first, honoring the life and legacy of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And then after I read that one, I'm going to ask Commissioner Burns to read celebrating the life and honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. We will have comments on that one. And then the other resolution, proclamation, Commissioner Alum, will you read the national proclamation on National Mentoring Month? So if we will go through them in that order. So I'll read the one on the resolution of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Whereas South Africa and Archbishop Desmond Tutu was born in 1931 and transitioned on December 26, 2021 at the age of 90. And whereas as a cleric of the Anglican Church, Desmond Tutu successfully rose through the church ranks to become the Archbishop of Cape Town in 1986. And whereas this theologian became widely known as a human rights activist, especially for his impact as an anti-apartheid activist as he worked in concert with Nelson Mandela following Mandela's release from prison in 1990. Whereas Archbishop Tutu was a teacher, mentor, humanitarian, and in 1984, Nobel Peace Prize winner as a result of his tremendous body of work. And whereas past and present world leaders share the following reflections of a life well lived, South Africa President Cyril Ramaphosa, if I pronounce that right, called Archbishop Desmond Tutu the spiritual father of our new nation. Former President Barack Obama called him a universal spirit, grounded in the struggle for liberation and justice in his own country, but also concerned with injustice everywhere. And former President Jimmy Carter noted he lived his values in the long struggle to end apartheid in South Africa. Whereas we pause to honor this insightful humanitarian and dedicated amazing life force who will always be remembered for his faith, his genuine sense of fairness, and a love of others. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Board of County Commissioners, do hereby resolve to pay tribute to the life and legacy of Archbishop Desmond Tutu for a life of distinguished of service. We call upon all citizens of Durham County to remember this global leader who steadfastly worked to improve the human condition of all. This is the 10th day of January 2020. All of the boards of county commission. Thank you. And I just want to say thank Deborah for pulling that together for us. Commissioner Burns, if you will read the other one and on Martin Luther King.
Can everybody hear me? Thank you for the thumbs up, folks. Durham Board of County Commissioners Resolution celebrating and honoring the life and service of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Whereas a champion of nonviolence and justice, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. devoted his life to strengthening the content of American character and fought unrelentingly for the civil rights of all Americans and taught us that courage displaces fear, love transforms hate, acceptance dissipates prejudice, and mutual regard counsels enmity. And whereas in the face of hatred and violence, Dr. King preached a doctrine of nonviolence, civil disobedience to combat segregation, discrimination, and racial injustice, and believed that people have the moral capacity to care for other people. And whereas Dr. King was one of the leaders of the successful 381-day Montgomery bus boycott in 1955 to protest the arrest of Rosa Parks and the segregation of the bus system, and whereas Dr. King helped found and serve as the first president of the Southern Leadership Conference in 1957 to coordinate and support nonviolent direct action as a method of desegregating bus systems across the South. And whereas between 1960 and 1964, Dr. King spoke in Durham at White Rock Baptist Church, the Durham Business and Professional Chain, Hillside High School, the Southern Political Science Association at the Jack Tarr Hotel, and North Carolina College, now known as North Carolina Central University, and Duke University, urging civil disobedience and nonviolent protests to end racial segregation and discrimination. And whereas Dr. King traveled more than 6 million miles, spoke more than 2,500 times, and wrote 5 books and numerous articles supporting efforts around the country to end injustice and bring about social change and desegregation between 1957 and 1968. And whereas on August 28, 1963, Dr. King led the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, the largest rally of civil rights of the civil rights movement, during which, from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and before a crowd of more than 200,000 people, Dr. King delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech, in which he called for an end to racism and advocated for the civil and economic rights of African Americans. And whereas the March on Washington was instrumental in the passage of Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, y'all, typo here, sex, or national origin, and prohibited unequal application of voter registration requirements and racial segregation in schools, unemployment, and public accommodation. And whereas Dr. King helped to organize the monumentally inspiring Selma to Montgomery marches in 1965 to advocate for the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 to guarantee that African American civil citizens had the right to vote. And whereas Dr. King was supporting the garbage workers in Memphis, Tennessee, and planning the Poor People's Campaign to promote economic justice when he was assassinated in Memphis on April 4th, 1968. And now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby resolve to recognize and honor the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his commitment to improve the human condition of all people through the adoption of racial equity framework for governmental decision-making, access to quality education, affordable housing, equal opportunity, shared prosperity, living wage employment, safe and humane labor conditions for all employees, and quality health care. Be it further resolved that the Durham Board of County Commissioners call on the residents of Durham to join us in reflecting and advancing Dr. King's life and fulfillment and a life-fulfilling dream, this the 10th day of January 2022.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. I believe we have Duane Langley. Are there others to speak? Duane is. So, okay, you have the floor.
Thank you so very much, Madam Chair. Good evening and Happy New Year's, Vice Chair Howerton, Chair Howerton, Vice Chair Jacobs, and Commissioners, as well as Interim County Manager Hager and the other members of the senior administrative team of Durham County Government. My name is Duane Langley. I serve as Vice Chair of the Durham Community Martin Luther King Jr. Steering Committee, and we are a community-based organization committed to preserving the legacy and example of Dr. Martin Luther King by planning appropriate ceremonies and programs in recognition of the King holiday. We honor his work toward racial equity and economic justice for all people, and his commitment to nonviolence, and for his stand against war and poverty. We have received a proclamation from the city of Durham, and our other events will include the resolution we've received tonight, the Martin Luther King Jr. Interfaith Prayer Breakfast, Beloved Community Here and Now, will be on Monday, January the 17th, beginning at 7 a.m. The streaming will occur on WRAL. That will be a virtual event. We will also have our virtual Unity Rally on Monday, January the 17th from 10:30 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. and the registration is on our website. We will have our day of service in partnership with the Jubilee Home. Volunteers will pick up trash and work in the community garden. Gloves and basic tools will be provided. Masks are required for the event, and that will be on Monday, January the 17th, 2022, from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Jubilee Home is located at 404 East Umstead Street. And then we will have our virtual annual religious service with keynote speaker, Associate Pastor Aubry from Poulin Memorial Baptist Church. And at that event, we will award our annual academic scholarships as well as our Keeper of the Dream Award, where we give it to one citizen and one organization per year. We will also have a resolution presented by the Durham Public Schools Board of Education on Thursday, January 27th, 2022. And we will conclude our programming with the Let Freedom Ring Virtual Quiz Bowl, and it will be an opportunity for youth to test their knowledge of the life and legacy of Dr. King. They will be allowed to create a team of 4 members, grades 6 through 12, and compete against other youth. Each member of the winning team will receive a trophy and $100. And information about all of these events can be found at durhammlkcommittee.org. Thank you so very much for this resolution honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Langley. Thank you for bringing this to us. We appreciate the work that you do each year, that you and your team lift up this humanitarian for our country, for our community and our country. Thank you for doing that. Comments from commissioners, questions? Commissioner Jacobs, Commissioner Burns.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And DeWarne, I just want to thank you for it's an excellent resolution. It's so important to recount the history and remember the history every year. And I appreciate all of the content of that resolution and all of the work that you and the Martin Luther King Steering Committee have continued to do, even during the pandemic. And hearing that robust list of activities that you will still be leading and hosting in our community. There's something for everybody. I love the quiz bowl. I don't think I've heard that before, if that's a new addition, but what a great idea. And I just want to say, you know, listening to the resolution and thinking about the history and what Martin Luther King and so many people fought for and sacrificed for, and what we're facing today with the attack on voting rights, and how important it is for the John Lewis bill to be passed, and the other voting rights bills, that I hope that we will all be keeping that and rededicating ourselves right now to how much is really on the line with the legacy of Martin Luther King and others. So thank you.
Go ahead, Commissioner Burns.
Mine is really quick. One, just 2 housekeeping things. If DeWarne would not mind, Mr. Langley, excuse me, for our public, just to say the website one more time. I know we're probably going to share it, but could you just say the website address once more?
Their website is durhammlkcommittee.org.
Thank you, committee, not committee. Like somebody already texted me and said, is it commission or committee? I was like, so we're going to confirm that for those watching. So thank you so much for that. And I do agree with Commissioner Jacobs that is a robust list of programs. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to share it on our social media as they come out. Because some of it, of course, we know that on the 17th is MLK Day. And it is not a day off, it is a day on, because many of us take it upon ourselves to go out and do something good in the community. But I want to take the second, Commissioner Chair Howerton raised up the issue of violence, right? Of us seeing so many young men being murdered. Commissioner, Vice Chair Jacobs, lifted up voting rights. And there's so much meat to Martin Luther King that, depending upon what speech we chose to pick from, we could choose poor people rights. We could choose voting rights. We could talk about the assault on civil rights, but we could also talk about what one of the real big problems that we have now is subtle bias. I think so many people can say, oh, I know racism when I see it, the same way I know abuse when I see it. But there are these other things, these other triggers. And what I'm hopeful for, because we did send out a charge to two individuals in Durham at the very end of that proclamation. You know, we invite and encourage, you know, Durham citizens to take it upon themselves to join us in reflecting and advancing his ideals. There's something about King for everybody. And I think just within the comments that were made by leadership and by myself, I'm hopeful that everybody can take the time to pull out something, and no matter what your race is or what your religion is, and let that settle in your spirit, and that be something that we move forth with. I think a lot of times, and I'm guilty myself, I'll look at someone and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you know, you took my comments out of context and you sought to weaponize them and to destroy me as a Black woman. And so the thing is, I can still be upset about those things and call those things out, but also take into account, you know, what am I doing for voting rights? What am I doing for poor people? So again, with King throughout this whole week and this weekend, and as we go into Black History Month, I just ask the community, there's something for everybody with King. I hope you can find it, rest in it, because we've had a tumultuous 2 years. DeWarren, as always, you have been at the forefront for a lot of these conversations. We start to get these emails in December. I can't wait to see who wins this year. And much like Whitney, I didn't know we had a quiz bowl. I knew about the garden, but I you know, if you need some judges, we are excellent quiz bowl judges. I'm just saying, I'm throwing that out there for next year. So thank you for coming out here.
Thank you, DeWarren.
Just a note about the quiz bowl. It was something that we were going to do pre-COVID, and we had it planned right before COVID occurred, and we've been grappling with how to do it virtual, and now we figured that out, so we're looking forward to a very engaging event.
Okay, so we have one more. This is a proclamation on National Mentoring Month, and the board is requested to issue the proclamation declaring January 2022 as National Mentoring Month in Durham County. The goal of the proclamation is to urge all residents of Durham County to rededicate ourselves to preventing youth from entering the juvenile and criminal justice system. You hear our mayor constantly say, it will take all of us. It is up to all of us to be involved, to take on mentoring. No one person can do it all. So as Commissioner Alam reads this one, this is our last proclamation. As we think about who are we mentoring, who are we willing to step out of our comfort zone to undertake some young person that can make a difference in their lives. Commissioner Alam.
Thank you, Charlton. And if it's okay with you, I'm recovering from a cold, and this is a long one. Can I have the assistance of Commissioner Carter in splitting it half and half?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. Durham Board of County Commissioners Proclamation, National Mentoring Month 2022. Whereas created in 2002 by the Harvard School of Public Health and Mentor, the National Mentoring Partnership, January 2022 marks the 20th anniversary of National Mentoring Month, an annual campaign to focus attention on the need for quality, consistent, and competent mentors. And whereas a mentor is a caring, dependable, and authentic person that provides support, guidance, advice, assistance, and devotes time to a young person to help youth discover personal strength, persevere, and achieve their potential through a structured and trusting relationship on a regular basis. And whereas quality mentoring encourages and empowers youth to make positive choices, promote self-esteem and character development, support academic achievement, social emotional learning, leadership and professional development, college readiness, and career exploration. And whereas the goal of National Mentoring Month are to raise awareness of mentoring, recruit individuals to mentor, equip mentors with the skills needed to support youth, encourage organizations to engage and integrate quality mentoring into their efforts with a focus on academic support, life skills training and career readiness, workforce preparation to motivate youth to excel. And whereas during the COVID-19 pandemic, mentoring programs have stepped up to fill gaps for youth and families, connecting them with resources and ensuring that mentoring relationships continue virtually to prevent social disconnection and mitigate learning loss. And whereas positive youth development theory understands adolescence as a distinct developmental phase where boundary testing and individual identity development are critical steps on the path to adulthood, steps that need to be supported, nurtured, and cultivated by patient and caring adults in safe environments.
Commissioner Carter, can you pick it up?
Yes. And whereas research shows that youth who meet regularly with their mentors are more than 52% less likely than peers to skip a day of school, youth who face an opportunity gap but have a mentor are 55% more likely to be enrolled in college than those who did not have a mentor. Youth who meet regularly with their mentors are 46% less likely than their peers to start using drugs and 27% less likely to start drinking. And whereas mentors serve a critical role in helping youth successfully complete high school and gain admission to college or training program, earn a post-secondary credential or certification, build new in-demand skills, prepare for the future of work, and succeed in an ever-changing workforce. And whereas mentoring programs must incorporate work-based learning to prepare and connect youth with real-life work experiences where they can apply academic, technical, and soft skills and develop their employability while exploring career pathways. And whereas the Durham County Strategic Plan Goal 1 is to provide access to educational, vocational, economic, and cultural opportunities while empowering citizens to choose pathways for their own success. Whereas the Durham Board of County Commissioners supports community-based mentoring programs as key community partners to support our mission for a safe, healthy, and vibrant community. And whereas National Mentoring Month is the time of year to celebrate, elevate, and encourage mentoring and recruit caring adult mentors in Durham County. Now, therefore, I, Brenda Howerton, on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2022 as National Mentoring Month and call upon public officials, educators, business, and community leaders and citizens to observe this month with appropriate ceremonies, activities, and programs in order to recognize individuals who serve as staff and volunteers at quality mentoring programs and help our youth find inner strength and reach their full and unlimited potential. Acknowledge that mentoring is beneficial because it facilitates healthy identity development, encourages educational achievement, reduces juvenile delinquency, expands career readiness, improves life skills and outcomes, and strengthens communities. Promote the creation, expansion, sustainability, and funding of quality mentoring programs across Durham to equip youth with the tools needed to lead healthy, productive, and meaningful lives. And support initiatives to close the academic achievement, opportunity, and mentoring gap and promote critical mentoring to support boys of color with mentors who perceive and understand social, political, and economic racism and oppression, and to take action against racism and oppressive elements of society. This, the 10th day of January, 2022, a place for Brenda Howerton's signature, our chair.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Mr. Langley.
Thank you, Chair Howerton, Vice Chair Jacob, Commissioners, Interim County Manager Hager, and other members of the administration for issuing this proclamation in recognition of National Mentoring Month. I'm DeWarren Langley, representing the Charles Hamilton Houston Foundation, where I serve as Executive Director. We are an organization that provides a continuum of programs, services, and mentorship to facilitate academic, leadership, and professional development to prepare boys and young men of color for academic success and the competitive workforce. This evening, this proclamation is in partnership and sponsored by other organizations in the community that provide support to young people, which includes a mentoring component. And usually we would have these organizations present when the proclamation is issued, but I would like to mention each organization by name, and those include Men of Vision, the Durham Boys of Color Coalition, the 100 Black Men of Triangle East, the D.L. Forbes Youth Foundation, Proud Program, Bull City Bulldog, the We Are Kings program of Durham Public Schools, the We Are Queens program of Durham Public Schools, Rota Generation, MBK Durham, Jubilee Home, the National Society of Black Engineers Research Triangle Professionals Chapter, Brother to Brother, Mentoring, Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Triangle, Mentor North Carolina, Audacity Lab, Boys and Girls Clubs of North Carolina, of Durham and Orange Counties, We Are, which stands for Working to Extend Anti-Racist Education, the Long Ball Program, I Am Me Girls, El Centro Hispano, Young Male Achievers, Triangle Literacy Council, Fatherhood of Durham, the Durham Children's Initiative, and the Durham Project Bill program. So thank you all so very much. And there are a number of other events that we're hosting throughout Mentoring Month, which includes the month started off with a proclamation from the Durham City Council on January the 3rd, 2020. I Am Mentor Day was Monday, I Am Mentor Day was on January the 6th. Tonight, you all are issuing the proclamation. And then on January the 19th, there will be a community organization virtual resource fair for educators of Durham Public Schools to learn about different community-based organizations to support our young people. We will be hosting a virtual training, strategies for effective mentoring for those who are interested in becoming mentors. That will be held on Wednesday, January the 19th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We're partnering with Durham Public Schools Office of Equity Affairs for the assignment Supporting Boys of Color in Times of Crisis, a community conversation, which will include showing segments of the documentary Black Boys. Then we will have a proclamation from the Board of Education on January 27th. And of course, we are partnering with the Martin Luther King Jr. Steering Committee for the Let Freedom Ring Quiz Bowl. And in addition to that, the Charles Hamilton Houston Foundation will also do a career plan competition where we will be inviting boys of color throughout our community to develop career plans. And this will be a project that we will be doing throughout the month of January in recognition of Dr. Martin Luther King, as well as in February in recognition of Black History Month. And it will be called the I Have a Dream Career Plan Project, where we are looking to have 50 boys of color that are in middle and high school to help them develop their career plans. Because Dr. King was not only a civil rights pioneer, but he also fought for equitable opportunity, which includes career success. And so we'll be challenging these boys to think about their passion, to develop a plan, and then to join a program that will allow them to receive the support they need as they work toward achieving their goals. So thank you all so very much for issuing this proclamation, and I welcome any comments from commissioners.
Thank you so much, Mr. Langley. This is a great proposal, and it is a proclamation, and it is in line with the work that we look to do in this community. And we're calling on all citizens in Durham to think about where and who they can mentor. So thank you. If there's nothing burning, commissioners, we're going to move on to our consent agenda. I don't see any hands, but thanks again, Mr. Langley, for bringing this to us.
Share those dates.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, commissioners, we are down to our consent agenda. We've got 17 items on our consent agenda. Our interim manager, or is there any item that you want to pull? Interim Manager Hager, is it any item that you want from the consent agenda? Is it any item that you wish to pull?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Any item that commissioners would like to pull? Seeing none, I'm going to read off a couple of items. I'm not going to read them all. There's just a couple I'm going to read off here just to bring attention to them. And that one is 220001, Budget Ordinance Amendment number 22BCC00055 to recognize $259,469 of North Carolina Department of Transportation rural operating assistance, and that is for the access, Go Durham access, just to bring attention to that for transportation for individuals, and even for what it says here is for city and county of Durham for work, medical, personal care, and other purposes for transportation. Just to bring attention to that one. Let's see, which other one? 220007, Budget Ordinance Amendment number 22BCC00056, and that's to recognize the one-year grant, $83,960.25 for 1 year, a 3-year U.S. Department grant of justice. It's a Justice Department grant to the Criminal Justice Resource Center for Mental Health Court Expansion Initiative. That had been advertised. Just wanted to bring attention to that for listeners tonight. If there's nothing else to be pulled, I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Howard, Chair Hamilton, I know you threw out the grant. We did talk about it some at work session, but I do think I want to highlight the fact that this board and the staff did come together to move over $400,000 for food insecurity. So I think that's 22-00222. So I do want the community to know that we are still very, very interested in moving forward and investing in food insecurity here in Durham. But that was the only other one.
Okay, all right. Is there anything? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay,
Second.
get a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Jacobs. I will ask the clerk for a verbal vote.
Commissioner Alam,
Aye.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jacobs,
Aye.
and Chair Howerton.
The consent agenda has been unanimously approved. Now we have our other business, Commissioner 220033. This is our Durham County Health Focus Update on COVID-19 crisis. We have our Health Director, Rod Jenkins, our Public Director, to give us a report. Welcome, Rod.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair Jacobs, the County Commissioners, Durham County Manager Hager, and General Managers, Interim County Attorney Willie Darby. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year to you too. Yeah.
And oh, how we have started.
Yeah, the community is waiting and waiting for you tonight.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get started. Just let me know if you can see my screen, concerns.
I can see it.
Okay. Just want to start off by saying that, just really acknowledging, what everybody already knows, which is, until recently.
Rod, maybe I think we don't see presentation view. We can actually see next slide, and your note.
Gotcha.
Does that help? Yeah. So the viewing public might want to know your notations. I don't know.
How about now?
There you go. Swap presenter.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
10-4.
Yes, sir.
I'm dabbling with these two monitors, so please forgive me. I'll just start off by saying it should be noted that until recently, January 10th, 2021 was the second highest surge had during the pandemic. With the late 2020 being the highest. The numbers that we are seeing now are without precedent. And that's where the numbers that we're seeing now are simply without precedent. The surge in cases is deeply concerning. However, my briefing will include updates, doing things a little bit differently, few best practices for these challenging times, and then also just want to let the listening audience know that rest assured, Durham has been an example of what to do. And in the face of this ongoing pandemic, our past successes, I am certain, position us to continue to lead. My message for the viewing audience is simple. Vaccinate, get your booster, wear your mask, get tested. Just want some top things that I really feel everyone should consider to remain safe during this surge in Omicron. You need to make sure that you're updated on your COVID vaccinations and booster doses if you are eligible. You need to encourage your friends and family who possibly need vaccinations and or boosters if they are eligible. Avoid indoor gatherings with people who do not live with you. Outdoor activities are much safer. And if you were to gather indoors with people who do not live with you, you need to wear a mask. You need to wear a mask in indoor public settings, regardless of your vaccination status. I'll say that again. Wear a mask in public indoor setting, regardless of your vaccination status. Most importantly, stay home if you are sick and get tested for COVID if possible. Continue to practice the 3 W's because we certainly know that. Again, our total cases past 7 days, 4,192. Deaths has remained relatively stable during this period of high transmission due to the Omicron variant producing mild symptoms for those who are fully vaccinated and boosted. There have been 0 deaths in the last 7 days. That's a little weird because whenever we have a period of sustained increase, we normally see deaths fall. We do have some other deaths that are attributed to COVID. 7-day moving average, 652 cases. This is an increase of 19.2% from last week. So we certainly are seeing, it kind of level off a tad bit. However, after the Christmas holiday and all the activities that went on, we do know that 268.3% was the increase from weeks ago. There are a total of 5,993 COVID cases in the month of January thus far. As mentioned, the numbers are just staggering. We continue to keep an eye on race and ethnicity trends, and at present, Black African American community are unfortunately overrepresented in COVID-19 cases at 3.69%, while they represent 37% of our population. Hispanic, Latinx continue to hold steady, and whites are also underrepresented. So a glimmer of hope, but we certainly know we have work to do with the African American. Our percent positive is reflected, and again, as of last week, the positivity percentage was 23.6%. Again, that's indicative of the surge. So again, we admonish the listening audience to get vaccinated because vaccines are widely available. And we know that vaccines and boosters are effective against the Omicron variant. It has been reported that the majority of the increases in hospitalizations are attributed to unvaccinated people. We heard that briefly today from representatives from Duke Regional, and it just bolsters what we know, which is unvaccinated individuals are continuing to keep this thing going. So again, new admissions in the last 7 days were approximately 156, and we know that that number is climbing and it's producing a strain on hospital workers. A couple of updates on vaccines, as mentioned by the lovely Monica Wallace. Vaccination Clinic is open Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. to about 4 p.m. We do have extended hours on Tuesday up until 5:45 p.m. Again, we say 6 p.m., but if you're there by 5:45, we certainly will serve. Vaccines are available for children aged 5 to 11 and has been approved by both CDC and the FDA. And again, the most recent update is boosters that have been approved for those who are fully vaccinated that are now available for those who are 12 to 15 years old. So we certainly encourage individuals to consider getting their booster doses and their vaccine. So far through January 10th, there have been 514,019 vaccinations performed in Durham County. Although Omicron is wreaking havoc, make no mistake about it, our numbers for vaccinations continue to stand tall. The percentage of the population older than 5 that has been fully vaccinated is 72%. So our march toward 80% continues. However, we know that the strain of variant is strong, highly transmissible, and even if you are vaccinated and boosted, if you don't mask up and protect yourself, you can test positive for the Omicron variant. Continue to be proud of our population of seniors who are greater than the age of 65. They represent close to 90% of the population that has been vaccinated. Our community transmission, no surprise here, is high. So is the entire state of Florida. Again, vaccinations by race, continue to do extremely well. 6.37% of the white population in Durham is vaccinated. The African American community, 48.06%, Asian, 72.69%, and in the Hispanic community, 59.5%. So again, vaccinations continue to go well. Proud to report that on an average basis, we're seeing about 300 to 350 people come in for vaccinations at the Health and Human Services Building. Want to lift up COVID testing. Just to let the listening audience know, COVID testing is available at Health Central Hispano, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And this is a drive testing operation only. Saturday, Sunday, 414 East Main Street. This also is a drive-through testing only, but it is widely available. Other testing locations can be found through the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services testing portal. Again, ncdhhs.gov/testing place. Again, Durham County Department of Public Health continues to be a great source. Our website, publichealth.org/COVID testing, will let you know all the places you can get tested. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell the listening audience that there are more than 30 locations where you can get tested in Durham. Of those 30 locations, Walgreens and CVS makes up more than half of these total locations. We do acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, that wait times are long. I think someone called into CVS and they're about a week out for appointments, but nevertheless, you shouldn't stop trying because there are many places where you can go to seek testing. Additional updates on testing. Since December 26th, there have been 16,341 plus COVID tests that have been administered in Durham County. We, the Durham County Department of Public Health, ordered 8,800 home tests with plans to distribute while supplies last. Our aim is to order more, but like the rest of the world, we are limited due to supply and constraints that have been in place with America since the summertime, really. We hope that they will arrive next week, and we will certainly make that known when it is ready for distribution. I also want the commissioners and the listening audience to know that we also distributed 1,200 rapid tests to North Carolina Central to assist them, their students, to come back to campus. They fell a little short due to shortage with the state, and we stepped in and just assisted them with that, so we were happy to do it for a great partner. We are awaiting additional home tests and antigen tests from the North Carolina Department of Health Services. However, we know that they have some staffing challenges, and we will continue to press forward to make sure that residents of Durham have needs. And as we will talk about in the next topic, the Wheels COVID testing site should come online by next week. We're looking forward to that. We'll expound on that in minutes. We do have 2 additional testing locations that will be a high throughput site, and we will make those sites known once all the logistical particulars are finalized. But we hope that that will be settled by early to middle of next week. Mask guidance. I'll be real brief, but much has been said about masking during this period of Omicron. And, certainly delighted that our listening audience and the residents are paying particular attention. Omicron is highly transmissible, and we don't want to provide, certain masks don't provide the protections as other masks. Of course, we know that the gold standard is the N95. However, these are hard to come by at times because they are really, really designated for healthcare personnel. However, you can get your hands on one. That's great. The KN95 masks are also a good option, certainly designed to filter out 95% of airborne particles, and they are more widely available. They're just as good. Should you not be able to get an N95 or KN95 double masking, the surgical mask is great as long as you have a nice tight seat, and that is a barrier that you can use in order to protect yourself. And wearing 2 masks, such as a cloth mask on top of the surgical mask, can also provide you protection as well. But you don't have any of those things. Of course, cloth masks are least effective. However, although if you wear them correctly, they still offer some protection. So we wanted the listening audience to know what we think about mask practice. And then I'll go back for a second. Just also want the listening audience to know that we still have an indoor mask mandate that is alive and well. So again, as I mentioned in the first couple of slides, if you are indoors with people who don't live with you, we certainly would encourage you to wear one of these 4 types. Mass distribution. To date, we were notified by the North Carolina Department of Health and Services that local health departments and departments of social services will receive boxes of durable masks beginning this week. Durham is set to receive approximately 6,000 masks that will be divided between public health and the Department of Social Services. We will announce when masks will be available for pickup, but right now we are working with the state to really ensure that we have a point person and we can receive those masks and divvy them up and be prepared to distribute them to the general population. So this is certainly good news that we received today. Final thoughts for your consideration. Our public health workforce, the Durham County Department of Public Health, is suffering many COVID positives like all other agencies. This is certainly affecting our ability to be nimble in our response, affecting but not stopping. Vaccination and boosters are still the key to end our pandemic moment. Positivity rates and hospitalization information are located on our COVID dashboard, and we are working to make this information more easily accessible. They're there, but you got to dig a little bit. So we want to make it a little bit more pronounced. And, again, we will hurdle the storm, but it will take some time. State epidemiologists, local epidemiologists are saying, estimating that the surge will peak within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're hopeful that it will. But in the meantime, these are the things that you should do in order to protect yourself. At this time, that concludes my presentation. Would love to be able to address some of the questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Ron. You always give a good report. Before I turn it over to the commissioners, we did have a meeting today, so a lot of my questions got answered. But the one that I would love for you to address is that will there be a portal for citizens to send emails directly to that portal?
We are certainly going to work with our most excellent public information team, both with the county and with the Durham Department of Public Health, to ensure that that portal is available. But as of right now, it's not set up, but that is certainly something that we are going to work in partnership with County PIO.
Thank you. Commissioners, your questions? Commissioner Burns?
I'm really quick because you did instruct us to send some of ours, but I know that my colleagues probably got some stuff, throughout the day. But Rod, first of all, I know we say this a lot, but I if I had a hat to take off, I really want to take off my hat because we got a slew of emails, and then some of us have been getting questions in the community. I have physicians that go to my church. It's hard for them to get out of church on Sunday because everybody's waiting at the parking lot. You have done such an excellent job answering so many of these questions. And you said that your staff is nimble. I just want the community to hear this from me. We hear you, but even his staff is suffering. We saw 2 weeks ago where even at Duke Hospital, it's higher now, but there were 400 personnel at Duke Hospital that had COVID. So if that's what we're seeing at our major hospitals, I need y'all to understand this also. We're dealing with it here. Our offices, I say all that to say that even with all that going on, Rod, I look back over the questions that we received, and I honestly feel like, now there might be some more that popped up. You've answered every one of them. And let me just say very well, I know that I got one afterwards, and somebody was asking about double masking, and I actually watched not anyone who worked for us, but somebody who purports to be a public health professional give totally bogus CDC guidelines. So I also want your staff to know that when you're getting hit with a lot of questions, it's not personal. Like, we really do have individuals out there giving out false information because there's a difference between KN95s and N95s. And this person said, is there any guidance for double masking? And it is if you have a tight seal. And I had to kind of sort of sit and watch this from afar. So I do want you to know that, your staff, we love you. A lot of times we want you to amplify these things because we know that there are people in the community who have just assigned themselves these jobs as community health workers or public health professionals, and they haven't done the work. So I just want to say I'm appreciative. And so when you get these emails, I know that it comes from a place, right? It comes from a place. And I'm thankful that you lifted up that there were over 30 places where you could get a COVID test. I do know that we got an interlocal agreement coming up after this. But for the public, there are that many spaces, and I do know that there's some nonprofits that are having some pop up. I really, like, you answered every last one of mine. I did see some of the numbers that looked a little higher, but we do see some movement with it going down. The only thing I would wonder, you hear people talking about flu Rona, you hear people talking about Del Omicron, Del, like, just how many? So we're seeing some of these mixtures. Is there anything that gives you pause, consternation, keeps you up at night that you would want the public to know about some of these combinations?
You hit it right on the head with the flu Rona. I do know personally a couple of individuals who were infected with flu and the COVID virus at the same time. And, thankfully and prayerfully, they're doing well, primarily because they were boosted. They were fully vaccinated, boosted. So the flu Rona is not something that's made up. It's a real thing. So with that being said, again, vaccines and boosters, again, still can get it, not exactly sure how they got it. They have a number of different theories, but it can happen. But your experience with flu Rona and its different ailments is much better. it's just a unique time in this pandemic moment because of the fact that, you know, we certainly have a variant that's just highly transmissible. And if you're not careful, and if our listening audience is not careful, they'll be subjected to it. And again, happy New Year to you, and thank you for lifting up the staff. You know, again, my heart is with my staff, primarily because I know how hard they work and I know how much they care. But yes, we do have dozens of people in public health who have been affected by COVID. And, you know, we are working with HR and working with everyone to make sure that they can come back safe.
Thank you. And Commissioner Howerton, if I could just knock one more thing out that he brought up, was the 60,000 masks. They are going to be made available, like you said, at Public Health and be split between, I guess, the city and the county. And these will be made available to the public. I would just like to make a personal plea. If you do not need to get one of these masks, do not come down to the county and come and get one. You know how many people there are in Durham, so 60,000 is really seriously like not a lot of masks. Like, you know that I know that one of the issues that our restaurants and our hospitals are having, and even with public health, we don't have enough, the supply chain doesn't have enough gloves, shoe covers, and masks. So if you actually do have the money and can actually get access and have the privilege of access, you know, a better quality mask, I just respectfully request, I don't know what my colleagues are going to say, but there are people who do not have access to this type of medical equipment, do not have access to these resources. And we're seeing shrinkage. I think a lot of the nonprofits, Rod, that we work with, they'll have a COVID event and people are stealing whole boxes of gloves. They're stealing whole boxes of masks. And so it's just really messing it up for everybody. So I beg you, I implore you, if you don't need it, do not take it. And so that's just my 2 cents. And I'm happy that the state is sending us something.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. All your questions are, you know, or the things, some of the things that we went over today that I'm going through this pile of emails that I have been receiving. Some of them were just sent to the mayor and the chair board of the county commissioners, and a lot of them for the citizens to know. Once I received a lot of them, some of them I answered. I didn't get a chance to get to all of them. Some of them I forwarded them on to our health director, and that's why having a portal that they can send it directly to the health department rather than filtering it through the elected officials, because that just takes us longer to get those questions answered. And the fact that the experts are in the health department, the experts is our health director that can give you information that he's receiving from CDC so that you get what you need. And that's what, in answering the questions, if people didn't feel like they got what they needed, I forward the information on to our health director. And that's what we need to do, because we don't want to give you any misleading information. So I'm going to let the rest of the commissioners begin to ask their questions. I see, whose hand did I see? Commissioner Jacobs.
Thank you for your question, Rod. My first question is, will your presentation be available publicly on the public health website?
It can be. You know, one thing that we've done from these presentations, when the ask was made, Madam Chair, for me to start doing PowerPoint presentations, is for the purpose of making it available to the general public.
Okay, that would be great if you could, because there's a very limited number of people who actually watch our meetings.
I beg to differ. Everybody wants to see. They got their popcorn ready.
I want Wendy.
Yeah, so I do know a lot of people go to the website and they check the dashboard, and I think people would appreciate the information. So I have a few questions, more about kind of helping with your capacity. And so I guess number one is all of the guidance that you just gave about behavior and about masks and things like that. Do you need help with just public, media, paying for radio, TV, newspapers? Because before, we had the Back on the Bull campaign. We had a lot of money coming to help you and your staff just to get out, PSAs or whatever. I'm just putting that out there to say, if you need help with that, please let us know, because I feel like, we're needing to pivot, and a lot of the guidance that you have given tonight is new because it's in direct response to Omicron. And I just, I know a lot of people listen to radio, so things like that. So, do you feel like you need, so I'm asking you, do you feel like you need help, to help amplify your message and getting this guidance out to the community?
Happy New Year to you, Madam Vice Chair, and I'll just say I'm so appreciative of the offer. I will say that I've been in constant contact with Interim Manager Hager, who's also inquired about my capabilities in terms of PIO. And Dr. Alicia Smith, second to none. I think she does a fantastic job. We have a contract set up with radio. We have, as a matter of fact, just last week I told her that we need to renew the contract because a lot of the advertisements were holiday-centric. To your point, things have shifted and pivoted because of Omicron. The good thing about it is, as far as radio ads, we have a very good relationship with the local radio station. So it'll be nothing for us to extend the contract with that. To your point about what we did Back on the Bull and everything, of course, that was much, much larger, and definitely took a lot more effort. But we will never turn down assistance. But just know, Madam Vice Chair, that communication has already had with Interim Manager Hager, and we're so appreciative for reaching out.
Thank you. Okay, looks like you want to say something.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, good evening,
Ma'am.
Commissioners.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to let you know, we as management are always in contact with Rodney and have made ourselves available in any kind of way. We were probably ahead of the curve just a little bit when all this stuff jumped off. And we've tried to continue to support his department. This shift that's happened over the last month, that's uptick in a fast pace, as I know, caught many of us, not necessarily off guard, but it has caused us to be extra attentive. So I've had those conversations with Rod. I know everybody's trying to make sure he knows he has the resources available. And we will, on the county side, support him as well with our team also.
Thank you. And my second question, Rod, is, what is the status of the program that we had funded with the city for community-based organizations to help us with vaccinations? And I'm wondering if you could talk about how could they help with the distribution of the 8,800 home tests, as well as with the 60,000 masks. And to Commissioner Burns' point, we really need to target both of those resources to the people who are being most impacted and are most marginalized. And, I'm really concerned when I see the vaccination within the Black community being below 50% still. And, just the folks who've only gotten one vaccines, 15.5% of our community, and just these are the people who are really most at risk, who really need the N95 masks and whatever, and the home tests. So wondering where our contract is and whether we can use those organizations to help us target who we get those resources to.
To my knowledge, Madam Chair, thank you for that question. To my knowledge, that contract expired last month. I believe that was a part of the mayor's vaccine equity campaign.
It was. It was.
And we, in turn, fulfilled our obligation. Deputy Public Health Director Christian Patterson was my designee because she's over vaccine operations, and she did say it was a worthy campaign. However, what of concern to me is, will they be willing to do the work, without a contract? But of course, we still have all the contacts and everything like that, and we built a strong relationship. To your point about the 15.5% that's unvaccinated, or receive at least one dose, that's a huge swath of, Durham's population. And as mentioned previously, that 15.5 spawned from the state's vaccine incentive campaign, where we had lines wrapped around the building and a lot of security needs and a whole lot of extra staffing. Currently, right now, such a disadvantage with staffing that pulling that off would be a little bit difficult. But again, as I said previously, we're not one to turn down a traditional system. However, I think pulling it together may be a bit of a challenge.
So, commissioners, one of the things that I'd like to lift up is that this is the health department, the health director is trying to pull his team together right now. We know that you have there are a lot of questions that you have. There's a lot of questions the community has. And the health director and his team are working to pull everything that's possible together. So there may be questions that you have that he's not ready to answer at this moment, because I think we want to know everything. And their team is not ready to give us all of the weeds details. So just know that they're working as hard as they can possibly do right now. They're running past themselves, trying to get everything done. And it's going to take a minute. And especially with staff part of his staff being out ill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I would just say that's one of the reasons I was asking about the community-based organizations, because we know that you and your staff cannot do it all alone, especially with people being, frankly, burnt out, vacancies, and then people being sick. So I would just say, I hope you'll look at, Rod, maybe doing, bringing to us consideration of doing a short-term extension of that contract if possible, so that because we know they're trusted community partners who could really, help. They've already showed how effective they are with getting vaccines and things and information, and maybe they can help us again at this phase. So I would just put that out there as something I hope that we will consider and act on quickly if possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Commissioner Howerton, I just want to pivot off of something that Commissioner Jacobs said. I know Commissioner Carter had her hand up. I would just say that proposal was only a page and a half. I wholeheartedly agree if there are nonprofits that we can bring in. I would just want to say to Director Jenkins, that proposal, some of us had problems with it. I don't have to rehash those. Bring that to us, but also bring it to us with the holes fixed in it that it had last. I would just throw that out there. And it was a page and a half. If one of us needs to write it and get it to Claudia, it shouldn't take long. But there were some problems with that one, and there are some nonprofits that do that work and do that work very well. And so I do agree, but if you bring it, I wouldn't push for an extension. I would push for what fits what you are about to build. that's all I would push for. And I'm a hush. Sorry, Commissioner.
Commissioner Carter?
Thanks everybody. And thank you, Rod, especially. Thank you to your staff, especially. It does feel like the campaign that you're leading has been intensified, you know, in response to Omicron. And I know that we are also grateful for that. You know, just real quickly, I wanted to say something personal. I grew up in a home with a mama who was the medical director of a health department her whole career. And I remember just the stress level in the house as a little girl was palpable whenever there was any kind of communicable disease outbreak. And there was never anything like this pandemic. So I feel like I have a small inkling of the stress that you all are operating under. And I do think you're doing a very, very admirable, remarkable job. And I know that you and your staff are just steadfastly working at it to combat it. And we're so grateful. I was thrilled to hear a number of things that you mentioned in your report, the free home tests and the free upgraded mask. That's huge. And the emails that we've been receiving have asked about those, and I really appreciate you getting that information out there. The fact that we're going to have 3 new testing sites, it sounds like, this by the end of this week, is just tremendous news. That's really wonderful. I know people are just, you know, scrambling to find a test. One question I had about the free test, the home test, and the upgraded mask, really in particular, will DPS be getting any of those to give away to students who need the higher quality mask? Do you know anything about what they are receiving? You mentioned us and our health department and DSS. Just wondered if we know anything about DPS.
Thank you for your kind words, Commissioner Carter. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
I'll just say I've not heard anything about DPS receiving anything. The email that I've received from the state only pertained to local health departments and Department of Social Services. Probably going to come to a surprise of Ben Rose, because I've not had an opportunity to talk with him. Okay. But nevertheless, I'm pretty sure he will take it. But nevertheless, if there's an opportunity for me to share with DPS, more than happy to do it. I know they have a ton of students, but again, as Commissioner Burns has said, those people who have the means to have their kids protected, we hope that they would consider those people who are less fortunate. And, we meet with DPS on a weekly basis on Monday, so we'll be sure to share this information widely with them, and just hopefully we get a tally to see what they need.
Right. And I just can't get off of this idea of how to get, people, 55,000 residents who have one vaccine fully vaccinated and boosted. I just can't get off of that. I mean, we have their contact information. If we had the workforce, be it through the nonprofit or be it through some additional hired staff, I just really wish we could attack that, head on. And
it's not from a lack of trying, Commissioner Carter and other commissioners, because we leverage the technology of one call, because as you indicated, everybody has a cell phone, and we've been pinging them for several months. But we've gotten some takers, but again, by and large, we knew, and I think I've said it several times, and I'll be real, but we knew that we would get to about 80% vaccinated. And that other 20 would probably be lost to fault. And unfortunately, it's coming to fruition. But, the only thing we can do, Commissioner Carter and others, is keep trying. As I mentioned, the vaccine is widely available. We have the hours, we have the staff. We certainly want them to get vaccinated. But, I think Omicron has showed us one thing. People are paying attention. And, to have 300 to 300 people to come through on a basis, that's remarkable. So people are getting vaccinated, not necessarily because they want to, but they're starting to see what's going on around them.
Yes, well, very good. And I don't know whether we have any influence over crowded outdoor spaces like the farmer's market, for example, or we have no authority over, encouraging, or even, I'm certainly not mandating, but encouraging crowds to require anywhere that's going to have a crowded gathering, like the farmer's market, for example, or indoor restaurant dining, to have some proof of vaccination in order to participate in that sort of activity. We don't have any capabilities there, do we?
Not particularly. And, the business community in Durham has been fantastic, as evidence as Madam Vice Chair has alluded to earlier about back on the goal. They took a pledge, and they're committed to keeping their staff and the patrons safe. So we relish the fact that that's there. But outdoor gatherings, again, it's better to be outdoors than indoors. But massively crowded space, give concern, give pause. However, it's outside, and right now we have an indoor mask.
Certainly is better outdoors than indoors. I think everybody should still wear their mask outside if you're in a crowd. If you're in a crowd, cheek to jowl or shoulder to shoulder, whatever, please still wear your mask.
Sound like public health to me.
That's just me, Heidi Carter, running her mouth. But, yeah.
If you don't have an N99, double up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Alum.
Thank you, Chair Howerton. I don't have a question, but I just wanted to make a quick point that actually last week I was at the El Centro testing facility, and I stupidly forgot that Director Jenkins was on a very brief family vacation that he very well deserved, and I was having difficulty, and I reached out to him, and he still, even on his vacation, did not hesitate to pick up and immediately provide me the assistance I needed and connected me to his team members. They were able to help me get through my testing and help my family get their testing. And it just really goes to show how dedicated Director Jenkins and his team are, that even on their breaks, that they're stepping up to make sure everyone is able to get access to a test and everything is functioning well. So I just personally, on behalf of myself and my family, thank you, Director Jenkins, for being such a dedicated leader.
Happy New Year to you, and so glad to know that you're doing.
Any other questions? Commissioners? Right, again, thank you so much for this evening, and we will continue informing the public. There's a press conference tomorrow, so there will be other questions asked. We're trying to minimize the number of people that will be there. Because I think we're all trying to stay safe, but we want to make sure that the public understands and knows as much as possible so that they keep themselves safe. If there's nothing else,
thank you all for your support.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you for your support. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioners, we have one more item, and that is to 22. Just went straight up. What happened here?
I apologize. I'm so used to leaving early.
We got one more thing for you here.
I think that's his.
Yeah, my computer acting crazy. Wow.
2020.
Yeah,
my 025.
Yeah, my screen's jumping around. It says, why is it jumping like that? It is interlocal agreement between the city and the county. Would you go ahead and read? Something's going on with my screen. It's jumping for some reason.
Do you want one of us to just read the title and then Claudia take it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just go ahead and read that for me. I don't know what's going on with my screen. It's bouncing
Last
around.
agenda item of the evening, lady. The number 22
Yeah.
0025, approval of an interlocal agreement between Durham County and the City of Durham for a temporary COVID-19 testing site. I've seen our lovely interim manager is coming off of mute, so I imagine she has something to say. Netta's having a snack, and Rod is still here. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not what this says.
It is. Go ahead and get started.
Y'all
All
are
right.
having too much fun. But I'm actually going to turn it over to Mr. Jenkins, our public health director, to share about this interlocal agreement. He covered part of this in the last conversation. And so, Rod, I'll let you give us an update on this.
Thank you so much, Interim Manager Hager. We're so grateful to the City of Durham and to the Board of County Commissioners for considering this opportunity to help our residents. The wheel site located on North Cooper Road has been used all pandemic long for COVID testing and for COVID vaccines, but sort of sparingly. We thought it not robbery to really look at that site as a possible COVID testing site because of its ability to have large amounts of cars and serve as a high throughput site. In talking with Ken Galbraith from Regional, collaborated on this, and she also felt that its connection to the bus routes and its location that serve the greater Durham community as a possible site. So again, we are looking forward to the possibility of having this signed, sealed, and delivered. And again, as mentioned, all logistics are in place, and our testing vendor, OptumServe, is on board. We've talked with the City of Durham, so we have all the particulars in place. We just look forward to being able to provide this as an additional option.
And I believe the city has already approved it on Thursday, on Monday, did they not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My understanding, they've already.
Yeah. So, are there any questions from commissioners? Commissioner Jacobs?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment that I'm thrilled that we're doing this additional testing site. I'm thrilled that we have such a great partnership with the city, that they are providing this location for us to use, and just thank you. And excited I know the community will be very excited to have another place for testing. So thanks so much for everyone who has worked on this to make this happen.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Seeing none, I need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Jacobs, second by Commissioner Burns. And a clerk will call the roll.
Commissioner Alon.
Aye.
Commissioner Burns.
Aye.
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Vice Chair Jacobs.
Aye.
Chair Howerton.
Aye. It has been approved unanimously. Is there anything else, commissioners? And I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Then, move to adjourn by Alon
I'll second.
and second by Commissioner Burns. And a roll call.
Commissioner Alon.
Aye.
Commissioner Burns.
Aye.
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Vice Chair Jacobs.
Aye.
Chair Howerton.
Aye. We are adjourned.